with James Kirklin.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Intellectual stew.
informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirklin. Intellectual stew.
Make sure I got everything settings right.
Intellectual stew.
Okay, yep, we're good there. Checking my technical difficulties to make sure that I am good. I see a gnat or something. Y'all get that sometimes around the summertime when it starts getting kind of hot? Well, it's actually starting to cool off, but sometimes these little gnats and fruit flies or whatever it is, they come up and they are annoying to me. Super, super annoying. I don't know. So talk to me. Let me know if y'all there. Can you hear me? I'm trying a new microphone tonight, so I don't want to. So I'm going to make sure that I'm transmitting correctly according to what I got going on over here. It looks like I am transmitting correctly. So what's up though? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirklin. And I am coming to you tonight with another conversation. And I hope you all won't mind being a part of this conversation and perhaps chiming in and sharing your thoughts as it relates to what we are talking about tonight. Did you all get a chance to see Good Morning America this morning? If you didn't get a chance to see Good Morning America, what they did was they ended up interviewing the people who participated in that incident with the boat. They interviewed the guy who actually got in the first fight. They interviewed him, and his assessment, was interesting to me because his assessment was a little different than the assessment than we had regarding throwing the hat up in the air. We made a joke out of it, and we were talking. Google it, yeah, Google it. Let me see who I'm talking to, but I don't like talking to strangers. One of these days, y'all gonna come in and y'all gonna hit that permission button coming in, and then when y'all hit the permission button, it's gonna let me know who you are. So I'm not talking to strangers. Yeah, but Melinda, yeah. So what happened was they interviewed those. It was three of them. It was all of them worked on as crew on the ship. And the one dude who threw his hat up in the air. We live in this society now who succeeds. It should be right above the actual caption. If you back out of the video and you read the caption where it says that the actual show is going on right now. But don't worry about it. Erlands, I see your name, so you're good. You can't even share the live. Go into it on my page then and see if you can find it that way. But you should be able to do it. But let's talk about this. So we live in a society right now that's so controlled by captions. We succeed on sound bites. We see little small things, and that's what we run with, right? We run with these sound bites. So we saw this brother who got in that fight on I think it was August the 5th. Was it August 5th? He got in that fight and he threw that hat in the air, and all of a sudden, I'm wearing a hat, and I'm talking about, you run up on me, I'm gonna throw my hat in the air. You do this, I'm gonna throw my hat in the air, and that's a sign for brothers to come. But that wasn't what that brother was thinking. Listening to the interview, he was thinking, well, first of all, he was like, my only objective is to get these people off of this boat, and I need these people to move this boat. This gentleman has been here before. He knows how it goes, but alcohol is involved. We're arguing all these kind of things. I'm trying to maintain my composure, because I don't want to get out of character, because if I get out of character, I might lose my job. That's what he was thinking. If I get out of character, I might mess around and lose my job. Well, so he threw his hat. By the time he threw his hat up in the air, what he was in essence saying was, "Well, guess I'm about to lose my job because I'm about to fight." It wasn't a call or cry for all the brothers to come, although all the brothers did come. We do send up smoke signals. We do send up, what you call it, flares for, we send up SOS signs. So, of course, we as society made it a sign, a SOS sign, so that if we ever saw this again, then we would know that we must be in distress. But that's how it is. So it was interesting to listen to his. They're so soft spoken. Back then I remember I watched somebody say something real mean, like, "Oh boy, I need to get his squabble game up." Like he wasn't really that good of a fighter. The dude was old, number one. He wasn't expecting to fight. He's working on that ship at the dock. They said he had worked his way up from the kitchen all the way to where he was at that particular point. And all he was trying to do was go to work and do his job. And that's what ended up happening. But so that's cool. That's something. Y'all, if you go ahead and Google it, Melinda, if you find it posted, let everybody see what happened. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing with you all about black men who had been falsely accused. I shared the story of several brothers who had been incarcerated for 25, 30, 40 years, only to find out later that they were innocent. They were innocent and they should have been exonerated, but that was not the case. They spent a large portion of their lives in prison, and that has been going on for a long time. Even Terrell Owens, not Terrell Owens, excuse me, Michael Irvin, earlier this year at the Super Bowl, he was supposed to be calling the Super Bowl game with one of the networks, but a young lady at the hotel where he stayed said that he made an inappropriate remark towards her, and they ended up sending him home. They convicted him in the court of public opinion, sent him home, degraded his name. They defamed his character. They did all of these things, right? All of these things going on, and it was messed up. It was messed up how they did him. But he was exonerated. He was exonerated in the sense that he filed a defamation lawsuit against Marriott. And when he filed that lawsuit, he ended up getting, they said, a settlement for somewhere around $100 million. It was roughly $100 million settlement that he got about that. And to me, that was a win for black men, because so many times we have been accused of things falsely. And after being accused falsely, we never get a chance to really clear our names. And this time his name was cleared. I'm glad it was on ESPN. I'm glad it was available for everybody to see it, because the same court of public opinion that persecuted him was the same one that had to promote the narrative to say that he had been falsely accused, because the video came out. Somebody said, thank God for the witnesses around him. Exactly. If it had not been any witnesses around, who knows what might have happened? He still would have been in the court of power. Could have been a harassment charge. Could have been a whole bunch of things. But we got to stop that. It's something about us that makes us an easy target. It's something about us that when they accuse us of something, that when we're accused of it, most times we have to end up proving our innocence, as opposed to them proving that we're guilty. And that's so unfair. And it's been like that since the beginning of time. It's been like that since the beginning of time. So last week, as we got into the show, as we got through talking about that, I wanted to ask a question. And I'm going to ask it now, and I'm going to ask you all that are listening if I could borrow your critical thought genes or whatever it might be. And I want y'all to help me come up with some solutions, if you will. I'm trying to find a specific question, but here the question is. This is what I want to know. What can we, as a people, I'm talking about black people right now. If y'all got some help, y'all can help me out, please. I don't mind. Whoever, tell me. But what can we build ourselves to secure ourselves from our enemies? Let me let that question marinate for a moment. Think about that. What can we build for ourselves that so that when we build it, it will secure us from our enemies? Because it seems like throughout civilization, every time we built something, they would come in and burn it up and tear it down. For instance, here we go. Y'all remember this, right? Tulsa Massacre, 1921. Y'all remember that? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Little white girl accuses a black man of, here it is right here. Yeah, in May 1921, a 17-year-old white girl accused a black teenager of assault in downtown Tulsa, and white terrorism ensued. Some say there were 300 or more people murdered in an act of bloody white terrorism. So we tried to build something, but they tear it down. Now, Tulsa, Rosewood, they get the credit, but places like, here it is, Colfax, Louisiana, 1873. Despite some people claiming America was great for black people 7 years after the Civil War, black men and women were being massacred in plain sight during the Reconstruction era. One of the most horrific incidents that we know of was in April of 1873 in Colfax, Louisiana. Approximately 150 black men were murdered by white men with guns and cannons for trying to freely assemble at a courthouse. So again, I ask the question, what can we build? Y'all help me. What can we build for ourselves to secure us from our enemies? Let me see what questions you all have, because I got some more examples. Somebody said we have to build love and unity our ancestors and activists had during the time of hate. Okay. That's one. Somebody read Summer 1919. I have to look that one up. Send me the information, Lakeisha. I don't have that one on here, I don't think. Here's another one. Somebody said we have to build a positive relationship and support each other. Okay. Each other, as far as black people or within our own race. Is that what you mean when you say that? Okay, let me give you another one. Here's another one. Hold on. This was in Wilmington, North Carolina. Now I learned something over this one. 1898. Here's a massacre. In 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina was a thriving area with a majority black population. There were also several elected black officials. Forcing whites to share power. However, the threat of Negro rule created illogical white racial resentment. The media frequently reported erroneously that white womanhood was threatened by black men. A Wilmington newspaper printed a speech by a Georgia feminist that read, "If it requires lynching to protect woman's dearest possession from ravening, drunken human beast, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if it's necessary." That's what they said. By the election of 1898, black men were prevented from voting to push out the black elected officials. But the white supremacists could not stop the economic power that blacks had already created. Therefore, they destroyed black Wilmington with terrorism. The day after the 1898 election, whites announced the White Declaration of Independence. They overthrew the Wilmington government, destroyed the printing press, forced out, and a mob of white men attacked black residents. There were reportedly 60 to 300 black people killed by this act of domestic terrorism. For over 100 years, the powers that be in Wilmington tried to erase this massacre from its history until 2000, when the General Assembly established the 1898 Wilmington Race Riot Commission to develop a historic record of the event and to assess the economic impact of the riot on African Americans locally and across the region and state, according to the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Listen, these people saw how black people were thriving because it was a majority population of black people in Wilmington, North Carolina. They didn't like it. Blacks were elected official holding office. They didn't like it. And because they didn't like it, they did everything to push the power out, to change the narrative, to change things in their way. And then when it didn't work the way first of all, they created a narrative that white women were on the verge of becoming desecrated and demeaned and all, and every black man wanted a white woman, and it could be no farther from the truth. But that's the narrative they created because they got to create fear. See, fear causes people to move, right? Anytime you want to really get a reaction out of people, scare them. Scare them. If you want to get a show enough reaction out of people, scare them. I mean, during the pandemic, everybody was afraid. I'm not going to get into my political beliefs on that because mine might differ from yours. Whatever, I don't care. But whatever yours are, that's your business. Do what you do with that. But I know that they use fear to move people, even on social media. If you've ever seen that documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, you'll see how they use fear to keep us apart. Even racism. Racism only exists. I like to hear I like to read about Michelle Alexander and how she talks about racism being a tool that's used to keep working class black and white people divided. Rich people don't care about racism because you don't go to school with their kids anyway. Integration does not affect rich white people because their kids go to private schools. Integration does not affect rich white people, those that are making multi-millions of dollars. You can integrate all you want to. They could care less because you're not going to pay the tuition to go to the schools that they go to. So that it doesn't affect them. So the ones that are arguing over it are really working class black and white people. And the rich people, the ones with the money, are the ones that's pulling the strings to create these narratives. If they want a narrative created, then they lobby for it. Next thing you know, you start seeing commercials about it. We can't even think a thought. We can't even say a word without the algorithm paying attention. I mean, you say something, I can say, don't let me say Joseph A. Banks. I promise you, Joseph A. Banks is all up and down my timeline. And what's funny is most of us don't even realize that our timelines don't even look the same. Our timelines are a reflection of what's on the inside of us, right? So when we start, I mean, you wake up in the morning, man, I never will forget one morning, it was a while ago. It was one morning I got up and I called myself going to watch Mississippi Burning. First thing in the morning, Mississippi Burning, because I ain't had to be at work till 12 o'clock. Man, by 12 o'clock, I wanted to fight everybody. I mean, literally, I was hot because I allowed those things in my spirit. And so but my point is, when they start to create these types of narratives that the white woman is under attack or that we got to protect her sanctity from what they said, what did they say right here? They said we have to protect her from, let me find the exact words. These ravening, drunken human beasts. That's what they call black men. Ravening, drunken human beasts. If we have to do this to protect woman's dearest possession, he said, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if it's necessary. Now, this is in 1895. The Emancipation Proclamation had happened a long time ago. I'm reading something that I read online as far as the history, but when I talk about the tool, racism being a tool to keep working class black and white people divided, that's in Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow. The New Jim Crow. She talks about how privatized prisons were used, how it was used to kind of take the place of slavery. And it's a new Jim Crow, new Jim Crow. So anyway, that's Wilmington, North Carolina. One more. Let me find it. Atlanta, Georgia, 1906. Like many race riots The violence in Atlanta at the turn of the century began with white women accusing black men of rape. On September 22nd, 1906, Atlanta newspapers reported that 4 white women alleged that they were assaulted by black men, a claim that was quickly unfounded. In reality, whites were threatened by the upward mobility of black communities in Atlanta, which they believed were taking away their jobs. Does that sound familiar? This bogus report of sexual assault drove as many as 2,000 white men to the streets. The terrorists went into the black communities to beat, stab, and shoot any black people in sight. PBS reports a disabled man was chased down and beaten to death. Communities were destroyed, and the unofficial death toll was somewhere around 100. Because of an erroneous claim made by a white woman that was quickly unfounded, that 4 white women said they were assaulted by black men. So Karen didn't just come out. We didn't just meet Karen, okay? Karen was created. Karen got grandmamas. Karen got great grandmamas. Karenism went down through time. I mean, over time, Karenism just straight out developed, right? And so, they've been crying rape and all this stuff for a long time. And we have been the casualty of what they have done. Absolutely, Melinda, you said the Arkansas massacre in Woodson. What was that, in the 50s and 60s? What about Elaine? In Elaine, Arkansas, that was a real massacre in Elaine a while ago. Let me see what somebody said. I remember watching on the Oprah show, and this man that was interviewed said America will scare themselves to death. Oh, absolutely. Because fear, you can control people by fear. Okay, it wasn't Woodson, it was Elaine. Yeah, that was before the 50s and 60s. Though. That was a while ago. But man, that was let me see if I got it in here. But yeah, that's how they control us. They control us with fear, right? And then fear is their reason. Okay, that was a part of Red Summer. That fear is the reason. Fear is their justification for what they're doing. And so what it boils down to is what people don't understand, because we were never meant to be understood. We have different cultural DNAs, right? A lot of what we go through in life are really is the offspring of what I call cultural clashes, because we think that we're all supposed to think alike. We think that we're all supposed to view life the same, and we don't. We're not. We have so many different categories. We have, number one, we're African Americans, or we're black, or we're whatever we are, Africans, whatever, however we want to identify ourselves, right? Then we have black men and black women, and black men and black women think different, right? And the older black men might think different than younger black men, and older black women might think different than younger black. It's so many different ways of thinking, and because we can't control it, then we become afraid of it. See, I always tell you this, that what people don't understand, they're afraid of. And because they're afraid of it, they try to do one of 3 things. They either try to kick it, they try to kill it, or they try to cage it. That's what they try to do. When somebody what people don't understand, they either try to kick, kill, or cage it. Why? Because they can't contain it. And the perfect example is this gentleman right here. He is the perfect example of what people don't understand. They'll either try to kick him, kill him, or cage him. But I am so thankful that Deion Sanders is at a point in his life where he could really care less about what anybody thinks about him. That's my dude. I promise you it is. I love it. Let me just look at
me. What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. You know what? God established me. So you ain't nothing you could do to me. I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy. So what would change? Not a darn thing. I'm not even playing the game, and you got an opinion of me. I love it, but I don't care. And I wish the world thought like that. Youngsters, if you're out there right now, do not give a darn what opinion people have of you, long as that opinion is not consistent of that of yourself. You be you. I'm not planning to make you feel good about me. I already feel good about me. I'm good. Message for the youngsters out there and the old school, not old fools.
I love it. I promise I love it. I love it. I put that stream out there for anybody else that might want to jump in and chime in on this conversation. The mic is open and the mic is hot. If you come in and you want to contribute to the conversation, stay on topic. I would love to have you participate. But I love Prime's confidence. He said, I'm not doing this for you. See, so many of us want to acquiesce to societal standards because so many of us are blinded, if you will, by the symptoms of success, right? Because success has certain symptoms. It ought to look a certain way. And if it doesn't look a certain way, then we don't acquiesce to it. In fact, we try to fight it. We try to kick it. We try to kill it. We try to cage it. I mean, we look at Deion Sanders, man, from the time. I mean, because number one, he didn't just start coaching. Let's get that understood. Let's get that understood. Coach Prime didn't just start coaching. Here's part of his coaching career. He started coaching as a AAA academy. He was the head coach in 2015, 2016. He was the offensive coordinator for Trinity Christian School from 2017 to 2020. He became the head coach of Jackson State from 2020 to 2020. Jesus, I can't talk. From 2020 to 2022. And presently, he is the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, when he left Jackson State, of course, everyone was upset. And everybody, started saying, well, not everybody. It was split. It was something else to divide us as a people, right? Because I asked a question. I asked a question earlier today, and this is a question for y'all that are listening. The few of y'all that are listening. Do y'all think that Black solidarity still exists? Do y'all think? And if you say yes or no, tell me why. But do you think that Black solidarity still exists? Because we are so quick to shoot the one. Church. We used to say a saying in the church that the church is the only army that shoots its own wounded. But I think that applies for Black people as well a lot of times, because if we don't agree, he said it's too much to type. I got a link right there. You're welcome to come in. If you got your hair done or whatever, or unless you don't want to be seen on camera. But I sent a link, and you're welcome to come in and you can say it. But when Deion left, of course, everybody thought he did the HBCUs wrong. They thought he did Jackson State wrong, and that's not what I'm here to discuss. I mean, that's however it worked out. He ended up going to Jackson. He ended up going to the University of Colorado. It's right there in the Melinda. It's already in the chat right up there where it says StreamYard under my name. It says James Kirklin StreamYard. I'll send it again if you want me to. I'm starting to put the link in the chat for those that randomly might want to come on the show. I'm trying to expand it to the point where other people can come on the show as well, because I enjoy doing that. I like talking to y'all, so I want you to come on the show. Like I said, as long as you stay on topic. Now, if you don't get on topic, I'll boot you fast. I'll boot you real fast. I know how to X you and mute you and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the thing is, we're so divided. We were so divided, right? And so there is no solidarity whatsoever. So I asked Melinda, does she think there's any Black solidarity? So let me bring her in and let her answer. Then I'll get back to my monologue in a second. Go ahead. Melinda, you there? You at work?
Yeah, I am.
Don't get in trouble.
I'm not. But no, the reason why.
At work, I don't be at work. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the
Just
reason
been
why I say
home
it's
till
no
the company time.
solidarity
Uh-huh.
is because I remember when we was trying to, when all that stuff was happening, Arkansas had a lot of, you know, what do they call it? Lord, I can't even think of the word.
You gotta give me a hint if I'm gonna help you.
Um, when we were having the marches
Uh-huh.
or whatever, we had a few marches in regards to the stuff that was going on. You
Okay.
would not believe the amount of other black people that was like, "Oh, that's stupid. They ain't gonna help us." But at the same time, they're not trying to initiate a plan to resolve some of our issues. That's one. The second one is the recent incident with Erica Mena and Spice, where she called Spice a blue monkey.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You said pump 5 or 9? Oh, now I'm gonna change it. Yeah,
Pump five. I need on pump five. And let me
I
get
got you. You
yeah.
ready? But yeah, with the incident with between Spice and Erica Mena, what she called the young lady called Spice a blue monkey, referring to her hair color, but also referring to her skin tone.
Oh yeah.
You would not believe the level of black women who felt like she was not wrong because she mentioned her child. I don't care if I talk about your child, your mama, and you're a different race. You should never bring a racial slur into it. Talk about my mama or talk about my
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Um, and I can come up with a lot of other reasons as to why I think it was Charleston White. He had
Mhm.
was on the video and he said that if Malcolm X or Martin Luther King was here today, they would be the black people nowadays would consider them lame,
But they
and
can
he's not lame.
but what people don't realize is that they considered them lame back then. There was a segment of society that considered them lame. Not everybody agreed with the movement. There were a lot of people that called them troublemakers and
Well,
interlopers.
they didn't agree with it because back in that time, we really didn't have any rights and we had no protection. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So, but
Exactly.
in this day and age, we
We,
have those rights and we have the protection because now we have a lot of more black people that are gun owners who
mhm.
are just now. How did that happen?
I don't know, but
Who
it's
are
the
just
news.
who's just fed up because we've seen enough police brutality. And oh, thank you. I'm glad I said that. And with the police brutality incident, a lot of black people are saying, well, if we just comply, we can go home, we can live. But at the same time, we comply, we still die. We comply, we still get mistreated, jailed for no reason, and still have to go through court and spend money. So my thing is, if we just band together,
Yeah.
hush our mouth when it
Yeah.
comes to differences, and just speak amongst each other, they don't know that we're feuding against each other. As long as they know that we're still butting heads with each other, they're gonna forever use us against us. You feel
That's
me?
that's the point. They have always used us against us. That's the point. Thank you for saying that. They have always used us against us because the old saying is a divided house can't what? It can't
Can't
stand.
stand.
And we're already weakened because we only make up as a people only make up 12% of the US population. So if you can divide that on the plantation, master will go get him and go get him and make them fight for no reason at all. For no
Right?
reason at all. Yeah, light skinned folk don't like dark skinned folk for no reason at all. And it's always been like that. And it's
Right.
like that today. Now, Lakeisha said something a minute ago. She said that Montgomery was a great reminder of black solidarity. And
Yes,
it
the
was.
man.
It
Amen.
was. But the sad part about it was 2 days later, I saw two black women arguing in the parking lot. And so when I saw them fight arguing in the parking lot, then I'm saying, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I flat out went past them and hollered out, hey, we just had Montgomery the other day.
I remember that.
I'm like, y'all stop fighting. We just had Montgomery the other day. And they arguing like, but the point is we don't have the black solidarity that we have. Now, I would say with regards to Coach Prime, that I think the majority of black people really support him. I
Yeah.
think the majority really. I know you're at work, so I ain't gonna hold you up. Let me let you
Um,
go. I
oh no, you're
appreciate
fine.
you for
Well,
coming.
let me speak on that Deion Sanders real quick before we go.
Go ahead, real quick. Go ahead.
Now, I'm not gonna say I want to say I want to say that I was mad at him, but I was kind of disappointed because I wanted him, to bring that energy and that solidarity into the HBCU. But again, money is a factor when you're raising family and you have bills and you have other commitments. But I never once wanted him to fail wherever he went. A lot of people saying, "Oh, he ain't gonna do good over there." You know what I'm saying? But no, we should always wish each other well, regardless of our disagreements.
I like to mess with your mind. So let me ask you a question. Do you think he did it personally for money, or do you think he did it for resources for his people?
And I
That's a
think it's
big
like
difference. That's a big difference.
well, if you look at it, I'm gonna say I think it was really a money thing because he's always been about money. Even when he was playing football, back in the day for Atlanta, San Francisco, the Dallas Cowboys, he was always flashy. But I don't think he meant it for that. But I ain't gonna lie, if someone offered me 1.9 however million dollars, I love my people, but I'm a support us from afar. But like I said, I probably would. No, I ain't gonna lie. I probably would have stayed and try to see if I can build that money and solidarity at the HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't we don't necessarily get all the funds, nor do we get the accolades, unless we're playing sports. I think
Hmm.
Dion had the opportunity to not only bring athletes, but at what they call it, academics. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're an athlete, they know you're going to have to maintain a certain grade average in order to stay on the team. And a lot
I
of
get that,
young black boys need that because they think, oh, I'm good. I can just, ride the wave. No, no, you got to get your education, brother.
but my point is, when I asked that, Deion Sanders was already rich. He was
Yeah, he
already
got
rich.
money. Yeah, he
Yeah,
got
he
money.
was. It ain't just got money. He was rich.
But let
I
me tell
mean,
you
yeah,
what a rich man said.
what's
How do
that?
you stay rich?
I get that, but my point is, he's already rich. Regard, he's gonna get endorsements. They were making money off of the social media, all those kind of things. Now, don't get me wrong, he made more, but he
Yeah,
also gave up more people access to more resources. Is my point.
yeah,
I'm gonna give
yeah.
you an example. Like my son was highly recruited in baseball, right? So he was recruited
Hmm.
in baseball. So some schools we went to, they had just a gym. But then some schools had, a nutrition program. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You could tell
right,
them you wanted to put on 20 pounds of muscle. They're going to make sure you had steaks and protein and everything because they had better resources, better
right,
facilities, all those things. Colorado provided those things for a lot more people. You understand what I'm saying? And that transport porter, he brought them in. And a lot of them look just like me and you. A
yeah,
lot of them look just like me and you.
yeah.
And even though they would have gone to HBCUs, and I'm not knocking because I went to HBCU, UAPB. I didn't graduate, but I went there. But they don't compete when it comes to so if you can get a coach like Prime
Hmm.
in a place like that with those resources, look, and then he takes 83 people out of the transfer portal, and they win the first 3 games when they only won one last year.
Right,
I mean, common sense. Nobody expected them to beat Oregon.
right.
Nobody expected anybody who's listening. Y'all know darn well. Nobody. Coach Prime didn't expect to beat Oregon. He
Right,
said the week before they had eight. They were 8 dogs short. They needed 8 more dogs to really be where he needed to be. So
right.
nobody. So it wasn't. So everybody was talking about. It was a lesson in humble pie, and he needed to
No.
be humbled, and all of these things. You know why they were mad. I'm gonna show you why they were mad. They were mad right here because of the Prime effect, because College Game Day came to Boulder 3 weeks in a row, and they didn't come because of the history. They didn't come because of the pedigree. They didn't come
Right,
because of the athletic director. They came simply because of Coach Prime.
right.
That's the Prime effect. And when people see a black man with that much power, with that much influence, they've always been afraid. They were they
Yep.
were more they were so afraid of Martin Luther King because of his power to organize,
And Malcolm X because his power to teach.
because of Malcolm X, because of his power to organize. And when you have people who have that much influence, those individuals have the power to organize. And like I said a minute ago, what people don't understand, they'll try to do one of three. They number one, they're afraid of it. So
Hmm.
because they're afraid of it, they try to kick it. Hey, Charlotte Childs, they try to kick it, kill it, or cage it. And that's a problem. That's a
Right.
problem. And that's where we are in our society. I'm gonna
I'm
let
gonna
you get
use
back to
that
work.
quote.
Go one more time. You said you're gonna
I
use
said
my quote.
I'm gonna use your quote. So
That's
make sure
my
you
quote
post
though.
it.
Okay?
I
It
know.
makes
That's
you
what I
it makes
said.
you say
Your
James
quote.
Kirkland, the AKA.
The Messiah.
All right. Thank you, Melinda.
You're welcome.
Give me a pack of bubble gum and I want $10 on aisle 2. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one. All right. So, but that's what we're going. That's what's going on with Prime. And you know, and I see some of these comments, and they're just code for this racism. That see, I talk about the blessing and the curse, right? The blessing is that so many people, more people have access to facilities and education and all that. And I heard Dr. Umar Johnson say something about it's only so many percent blacks on the campus, and that's most campuses. I get all that, you know, but these kids are playing for, and hopefully it's a trickle down effect. And I mean, I see more HBCUs playing on TV now than I've ever seen, so I'm enjoying what I'm seeing at this particular moment. But I hear all these people talking about these different things, but they talk about the positive and the negative. And the negatives, the negative effect is to see all of the racist people that, because you know, we'll say stuff like slavery was a long time ago, and they'll say stuff like, won't we just get over it? You know, that was back in 1860s. My family didn't do it to you. And all these kinds of things, right? They just all, I mean, we hear these we hear these people, they say these things like just get over it, just get over it. But then when somebody like Prime comes up, then people start really giving their true colors, right? I mean, like I look at some of the comments that I see on Facebook. Here's one comment that I saw on Facebook. This guy said everyone that was gagging on Prime's unit, y'all know what he's talking about, right? When they say his unit, everyone that was gagging on Prime's unit last week have all been silenced. There's always next year, boys. Well, first of all, who thought it was this year? And I ain't quiet. I'm keep talking. I don't mean y'all through talking. Listen. They play USC this week. I'll be at work, so I won't be able to watch it, or I'll be on the road. But if I get back to Little Rock in time, because I'll be on the road, and if I'm not in Little Rock, I'm gonna be listening to it on the road. And I promise, I'm going. If they get beat 100-5, I'm listening. Listen, Kennedy, if you're watching, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I just got to use this analogy. When my daughter was younger, she played on some pretty sorry softball teams. I mean, they were not very good. I'm just being honest. She was decent. She was good, and she's still pretty good. That's my baby, Ladybug. That's y'all. That's my baby. Kennedy, I promise I'm sorry. I'm not, but I needed to use this analogy. But just because their team was sorry, does that mean I wasn't going to show up for the game? I was going to show up every game. I was going to cheer her every at bat. If she caught a pop fly in center field, I was going to be, yeah, baby, way to go. Yeah, do your thing. I was going to do all that because I'm going to support. I don't care if they go 3-9. As every game I can, I'm going to watch. And I'm going to hope they get better. And I'm going to realize it's a process. And I'm going to remember that if they don't win another game, they had a 300% increase since last year. That's where I'm at on it. If they don't win another game, they got a 300% increase since last year. So nobody was, so for old boy to make his statement and say some stupid stuff like there's always next year, boys. Or what about the ladies who support Coach Prime? So it's only not next year for them as well. But that's one thing. I saw this comment right here. This kind of got me a little bit. He says, "Welcome back to reality, coach. Tell your quarterback to get better." Once again, what I mean, what? I mean, I get so sick of people that create narratives and then make themselves angry about their narrative and then respond accordingly, right? Who's unrealistic? Real talk. Who's unrealistic? Absolutely, Melinda. This is only the first year, and they act like he was supposed to go undefeated. Listen, he knew the challenge he had, and maybe that's why he took it. Maybe that's why he took that challenge because anything is better than going past one game, winning one more. I mean, so what? So what do you mean when you say some stupid stuff like it's a real reality check? Tell your quarterback to get better. Now I appreciate this person here. They said progress is always hated by those that want to see others fail. What has been done and is being done at CU is a good thing. They are rebuilding. Not one time did Sanders state they would win every game. That he has been saying is, I wish they used punctuation, that would help. What he has been saying is that they come to play and grow and get better. The process to rebuilding a quality program is not a fast stop at the quick mark. They lost. Okay, they will most certainly lose again. I want to see how they respond, because then and only then can you measure the fight in the dog. I love that. That's positive. Positive reinforcement. That's what what they're saying. Listen, no, not one time did Prime come out and say we're gonna go 7-5. We're gonna go 8-4. We're gonna go 9-3. We're gonna go 10-2. Not one time did he say that. I never heard him say that. Nobody had unrealistic expectations. We won the first. Nobody thought they were gonna beat TCU, but they did. I know TCU wasn't the same team. Nobody thought they were gonna beat them. Few people thought they were gonna beat Nebraska, but take that back. When they beat TCU, then all of a sudden they were good enough to go 3-0. But then Colorado State gave a different game, so they must not be for real. Everybody expected Oregon to beat them. It was a 21-point spread, and they got beat, and they learned something from it. But this is the comment that got me right here. And y'all tell me what this is code for. All 7 of y'all that are listening, if you're listening, go ahead and share this thread. I got about 5 or 10 more minutes on here, and then I'll get off. But this is code. No, I might not even be on that long. This is code. Y'all tell me what this is code for. Because I ain't gonna lie, this statement upset me. I wanted to say something else, but I'm trying to do better. Here we go. Okay, Dion, now sit down and know your role. What does that mean? What is Coach Prime's role, Mr. Crimmins, whoever you are? Let me. Yeah, because you put it on a public post, so it's not like I'm defaming you or anything. You put it on a public post. He said, "Okay, Dion, now sit down." First of all, it's Coach Prime or whatever, but you know he's Dion. I get it. You do what you do. But he said, "Okay, Dion, sit down and know your role." Help me out, Facebook. Help me out, Stu Nation. What's Dion's role? I thought he was the head coach. Is there another role that I don't know anything about? Huh? Is there another role that I'm missing? That he failed that he's failing to operate in? What's that role? Know your role. Is it know your place? Is that what you meant to say? Is it because he's not doing it like Saban, and he's not doing it like who are some other coaches? Brian Kelly at LSU, and Muschamp, and what's Kirby Smart? Is it because he's not doing it like those? Is it because he's not that tent and he's that loud? Is it because they got a little bit different tent? Is that the problem? What am I missing? Am I missing something? Because see, for Coach Prime, what I've discovered is it's something total. It's bigger than just football, right? I'm going to show y'all in one more video. It's much bigger than football. It's not only about football. It's also about building young men. I mean, he has a young man that's going to hide me in a minute. He has a young man by the name of Jimmy Horn Jr., real good receiver. Jimmy Horn Jr.'s father is incarcerated. Even though he's incarcerated, he still stays in contact with his son by way of telephone. And Coach Prime didn't look at him as a throwaway. He knew that the man was still significant in Jimmy's life. So he had a conversation with him. Watch this interview.
The best moments that I had on Saturday. Jimmy was getting on the plane, and he said, "Hey, man, my pops, I got my perfect time. My pops is on the phone. You know, Jimmy's pop is incarcerated. But just to have a conversation with his father, and his father said, you told us you was going to take care of him. You was going to look out for him, and his father was so happy and elated. Like, that's what you look for. That's what you want. But to have that conversation as he was getting on the plane, just him also being affirmed by his father, that does a lot. That does a lot for a young man.
Yes, sir, because like with Coach Prime, he reminded me so much of my pops. And then when I heard him two talk, my dad really happy to talk to him because he stood on everything he said he was going to do. So he taking care of me, making sure I'm good mentally, physically, and emotionally. So he doing his part, and he stood on everything he said. Coach Prime, the man of his word, I'm parts of men in their words. So
Yeah,
that's why it's only right that I'm here.
Yeah. That so many people miss that aspect of coaching, because especially if I send my son to your school, um, then you're gonna be like a surrogate well, like a not surrogate, but you're gonna be a substitute father while I'm gone. No, I'm his daddy, no doubt about it. But I expect you to look out for him, and it's hard for you to raise a child or really relate to a child. That's a better word. It's harder to relate to a young man if you don't really love that young man, because it's a difference in loving somebody because of who he is, but it's another thing because of you love them because of what you feel like they can do for your program. And the Sabans of the world and a lot of these blue chip Division I coaches, it's not that they love those kids because of the fact of what of because they love them so much. They do that because of what those kids can do for their program. And if those kids don't produce, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get rid of them. Thank you, Jarvis. Jarvis said that's why I mentor today. Listen, a child really don't care how much you know until you know how much you care. Now, you had all those kids that were going to J State, and he loved them and all those kind of things, and he treated them like his own children. Great thing. He's doing the same thing at Colorado. But the difference is now they're getting bigger endorsement deals. Probably they're getting. I know Shedeur Sanders is like one of the highest paid as far as NIL deals. What's up, Mr. McDonald? Uh, he's one of the highest as it relates to highest paid as it relates to um, endorsement deals as far as NIL. But that was prior to him going to Colorado. But now all of them have opportunities. All of them. But even with that, he loves those children. I mean, can you imagine what Jimmy Horn felt like to see Coach Prime, Hall of Fame football player, heck of a baseball player? He's the only guy that played in a pro game, pro football, and a World Series on the same day. This dude is one of the best athletes of all time. Could be as arrogant as he wants to be. See, sometimes, y'all, let me tell y'all something. And my pastor helped me with this one time. He was preaching my installation. He said so many times we mistake confidence from arrogance because they look alike. Confidence and arrogance can look real similar, but half the time the interpretation really ain't on me. It's on the person that's viewing the person who they're trying to assess. I mean, you might think just because you say a person is arrogant doesn't necessarily make it true. You can say he's arrogant to me, but that doesn't mean he's arrogant. Dion is the epitome of confidence. He's always been confident. Most of those guys are alpha males. They have to be in that arena. Can you imagine going out there without confidence and people are trying to knock your head off in a football game? Can you imagine that? Somebody throwing a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, or let's say a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and then trying to throw an 85-mile-per-hour changeup behind it, and they throw a curveball going straight at your head, then it breaks at the last minute. You got to have confidence. And like he said, thank you, Melinda. Who said that? Don't let my confidence trigger your insecurities. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's triggering people's insecurities. Do not mistake confidence for arrogance. They're two different things. They might look alike. They might even dress the same. They might even look like twins or cousins, but they're not the same. And Coach Prime is confident, and he exudes that confidence. And at the same time, he's soft enough. I remember when I used to watch him preach, and I thought they were exposing him. I think, or not exposing him, but they were using him. I thought Jakes was using him back in the day. Just putting him out there, letting him preach and all that kind of stuff. But as I listen to him now, I believe he's called. Man, I believe that he's called for such a time as this. Because anybody who ruffles the world's feathers like this, I'm with that dude. I promise you. Because I'm not the type of person that run behind crowds. I just never have been. I never have been. I never will be. I'm sorry if it's because typically popular don't always mean powerful, but sometimes it does. And I can read. I can look. I might not be able to judge, but I can inspect fruit. If I look at an orange tree or an apple tree and I see apples on that tree, I know that's an apple tree. And if I look at somebody who's talking about God, who's talking about being making an impact in young men's lives, I wish I would have got the meme or the video. If somebody has a meme or a picture of Coach Prime on the sideline with his arms on, with his hands on Shadur's shoulders, not only being a coach but being a father, send that to me right quick. I want to post that as well. I mean, because he's a father first. He's a father to Shadur and to what's the other, Shiloh. I love it. I love it. I love it. And even to Jimmy Horn Jr., whose father is in prison. And you know what? And that speaks volumes because he's cultivating and fostering that relationship between Jimmy and his father. So many people would tell me, your dad in prison, don't worry about it. You got to look out for yourself, and wouldn't cultivate that because they assume the worst about people who are in prison. And I've shown you the last 2 or 3 weeks how many people are in prison unjustly. So many people went to prison in the late 80s, early 90s, simply because there was a quota. They had to fill those beds up. And it's been happening since the 90s. And so many were in there for 20, 30 years just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or because they didn't go to college or the military, or because they wasn't paying taxes, or because they were deemed not to be productive citizens in society. Man, that's messed up. Ain't nothing right about that. Nothing right about that. And so that's what's going on with Dion. Dion, it keeps being persecuted in the court of public opinion. Michael Irvin, a few months ago, was persecuted in the court of public opinion. And what it does is it triggers people. And those people come out and they make mean memes, and they say mean words, like this man doesn't have children. This dude flat out said, okay, Dion, at least he spelled his name right. I'll give him credit for that part. He said, okay, Dion, now, like in other words, now that you learned your lesson, boy, now sit down and know your role. Tell me how that works. Tell me how that works. And that's what I love about it. So yeah, if I had a son that played football and he was good enough to be recruited by Coach Prime, that's the kind of man, not coach, because Dion has NFL ties. So those guys are gonna get NFL looks. And for those, and you remember a couple of years ago, Dion was complaining because the NFL wasn't coming to the combines. They weren't coming to Jackson State. They weren't coming to those schools. He had pro prospects that he thought, and they didn't come. Well, they're coming to Colorado. And he's getting those kids a chance. And I just believe, I have a sneaky suspicion that he's going to also divert some of those people to some of those HBCUs. Like I said, I don't know if y'all see it. ESPN Plus is showing. We saw UAPB play on ESPNU last week. That's powerful. Back in the day, that would never have had. Hey Jarvis, I wish Ivory Lee Brown could have ran on ESPN. Ivory Lee Brown might have had, he might have went a long way. Who knows? Because that joker used to run that ball. That dude used to run that ball. Yep. That's where we are. Hold on. Okay. That's what's going on in the world, and I'm tired of it. And I don't know. Things are gonna have to get better. Let me show you one more meme because this one was so mean, and then I'm about to get out of here. But watch this. Look what this dude said about. Now, some of y'all might think this is funny, but look what this is so insensitive. They said my coach has 10 toes. My coach has 10 toes. Oregon. All of them. Look at that. White folk. I hate to say it. But look at it. My coach. That's what he said. Has 10 toes. This man is fighting for his life. Almost died. Wow. Yeah. And honestly, at this stage of life, I just looked up Melinda because we talked about whether he was rich or not. I was looking it up right here. Hold on, let me see something. I like, that's what I like about this kind of stuff. Hold on, shouty. Hold on. Help is on the way. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, my bad. This not recording, so I can do this. All right, share my screen. Is this the one? Yeah. So his net worth is $45 million. That's Deion Sanders' net worth. His net worth is about $45 million. So he ain't hurting for no money. So at the end of the day, because of his sickness, Because of his illness, because he almost lost his life, he could easily go home to Texas and sit in his mansion and live out the rest of his days. He has enough money to live off the interest from now on, $45 million. But he still chooses to coach. That's ego. Are you serious? Or is that love for the game and love for young men? Yeah. Look at it. And like Jarvis just said, that's proof of young folk disrespecting coach. I mean, this is crazy. My coach, is that what, do y'all read that? My coach, oh, let me move Jarvis coming. My coach has 10 toes. I don't know what coach has, 7, 8, whatever he might have left. I don't know. But whatever he has left, he's limping around coaching. He's limping. He's riding golf carts. But more than anything, he's loving on young men, and he's making an impact. And that's all. That's what means something. Not just about wins and losses. They say he can't coach. They said I think the dumbest one I heard was Dion can't coach. He just got good assistant coaches around him. Well, isn't that what a good head coach does? Get good assistants. I mean, because Nick Saban's offense used to be horrible until he went out and started bringing in people like Sarkisian and Josh, who was the Lane Kiffin, different people. And am I missing something? Why is the standard so different for us compared to them? Colorado won one game last year. They're 3-1 this week. They're probably gonna be 3-2 at the end of by Saturday night. So what? While they're 3-2, I'm still gonna watch them. If they go 3-3, I'm still gonna watch them. If they go 3-4, I'm still gonna watch them. If they go 3-8, I'm still gonna watch them. Why? Because of black solidarity. Yeah, if I get a chance to choose, I'm choosing. Yeah, I'm choosing. And I chose to support Coach Prime, and I'm going to do it. And that don't mean I hate anybody else. It does not. But I have preferences. And it is what it is. I have preferences. What'd you say, Melinda? Melinda said the people who saying that probably never played sports, and if they did, they were a non-factor. Yeah, that's just like people in baseball tell these big fat dudes sitting on the couch telling somebody to hustle. Listen, me running my 40 in my prime and you running your 40 in your prime look totally different. I'm smooth, but man, you probably going east, west, north, and south all at the same time. But I get it. So it might not look like I'm hustling because of the way I run. That's all okay though. What you say, Jarvis? Jarvis said you can chip away a man's body part, but if his spirit is intact, look out. And that's exactly where Dion is. Coach Sanders is. I'm sorry, Dion. I didn't mean to do that. Coach Sanders. That's exactly where Coach Sanders is. And I love that about him. So who all has said he can't coach or he don't have any experience, he might not have a lot of experience. But coaching wise, he was the offensive coordinator for Trinity Christian School. He was the head coach of Jackson State. He won. He was the head coach of Trinity Christian School. They won. He was at AAA Academy. They won. He was with the San Francisco 49ers. They won. He was with the Dallas Cowboys. They won. He was with the Atlanta. No, never mind. But anyway, he won mostly everywhere he went. That was shade, y'all. Atlanta. That was shade. I'm gonna put a disclaimer on that shade. But he won. He's a winner. He knows football, and he's smarter. And more than anything, and that's what I like about most head coaches. A really, really good head coach is a really, really good motivator. A really, really good head coach is a really, really good motivator at the end of the day. Okay, what you got? Bishop G.T. Lewis, when you gonna come on to my show, man? Let me put the link in the chat. Because if you want to say that, Bishop, you're welcome to come in. But drivers, what you laughing at? They ain't never won nothing. Bishop, I just put the link in the chat. If you want to come on and say that, you're welcome. But he says white people have never been able to accept a confident black man. He's intimidating to them, just like Muhammad Ali. And some people, I meant to put that up. I'm sorry. And some people say, how can you compare him to Muhammad Ali? How can you not? How can you not? I mean, people, wars, we might not be fighting Vietnam, but we're fighting a war. And that war, Ali was during the Vietnam War, and he took a stand. He said he wasn't going to fight nobody that hadn't done anything to him. And that's where he was. And he stood on that one. Dion said, I'm only concerned about my boys. He said, what about me makes you think that your opinion of me had, in other words, what I eat, what you eat, don't make me, don't control my bowel movement. Let me say it like that because Bishop's on the line, so I got to be careful what I say. Yeah, what I eat don't make you, yeah. What you eat, I'm sorry, what you eat don't make me. It's coming out the way it comes out. It is what it is. So I thank God I'm a 51-year-old confident black man. I thank God that my daddy raised me. I thank God that he's still in my life and he taught me how to call a spade and recognize certain things. And I'm going to be forever appreciative of that. So when I say it, typically I've researched it, but I do understand it's my opinion, and other people's opinion have their opinions as well. And whatever your opinion is, hey, roll with it, but just be able to stand on it, right? And make it be rooted in something, not rooted in hatred, not rooted in fallacy, not rooted in your blind ambition. You know, I mean, just, how about just taking a person as they are at face value without projecting? Can we do that? Without projecting, you know, because what I do in my home, you might not do in your home. And that's okay. We can live side by side. And both of us pay our mortgage, all of us pay our mortgage on time every month. All of us pay our taxes on time every month. All of us take care of our families. All of us do what we do. You might exercise, I might not. I mean, you might not eat healthy. I might eat healthy. Whatever. But what I do in my home and what you do in your home does not, we don't affect each other. Right? Until I come and knock on your door and try to kick your door in and try to mess up what you got going on. Until then, man, do what you do. What Prime is doing in Colorado, either you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, shut your mouth, hush. And if you're gonna say something, call it what it is. But nobody ever said, man, this dude right here, man. Where is that? Hold on. This dude right here, man, I wish I could find him because I really would tell him I wish he would kick rocks. And I wish he would kick them barefooted, kick them with bare feet. I mean, and find the biggest rock you can find. If I could find it. If I could find this dude right here, I promise I'd tell him to kick rock. Everyone that was gagging on Coach Prime's unit last week have all been silenced. No, we still talking. And I can't speak for them, but I'm going to raise my hand so you know this me. I'm still talking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what we prove? 3-1, baby. See you. Go Buffaloes. Go Buffaloes. But no, I really, okay, let's see. Good evening. How you doing, Jackie? He said, Bishop GT, you can come on late, then you're going to make me stay on later. That's cool. I appreciate it. He is concerned about building strong, confident black men who will leave with a college degree and prepared for life. And some of them going to leave, and man, they're going to leave with a few more dollars in their pocket. I love, they talk about the transfer portal. Anybody want to come on and talk about transfer portal for a moment? I love the transfer portal because for years, man, it was modern day slavery. They had these kids playing for these big old universities and couldn't even afford to go home. They couldn't even go home and afford. They couldn't go home. They couldn't even afford to go home for Thanksgiving and for Christmas holidays and all of those things. And if they did go, if somebody were to slip them a couple of $100 or a plane ticket, then they had to go through the public scrutiny of perhaps losing their scholarship, or in case of Reggie Bush for taking benefits, he had to give back his Heisman Trophy. Why Johnny Manziel had given back his Heisman Trophy? But Reggie Bush had to give his back, right? So, but for all these years that was going on, and we couldn't get paid. Couldn't get paid. Couldn't. Even the boosters that wanted to hand them $400 or $500, $1,000 to show them appreciation couldn't even do it. So now, with the transfer portal and the NIL deals, I love it. Get your money. Angel Reese. Hold on, let me find this right quick. Angel Reese, girl, hold on. Where am I at? Let me find it. I'll be forgetting about these. Angel Reese, hold on. I love it. Angel Reese is getting her money. Shadur Sanders, get your money. All these people, I don't care if they're getting $30,000, $40,000 a year, whatever it is, get your money. Look at the economic impact he's having on Colorado. And Colorado loved him so they knew. See, you know what? A good carpenter can look at a tree and see a chair. So Colorado looked at Prime and said, man, he's good for our program. And Prime looked at them and said, this is a good marriage because they only won one game last year. So I don't know if it's true or not, but they said when they couldn't afford to pay him, he negotiated a part of the ticket sale. They sold out. You can't buy a ticket hardly for less than $500. So Prime is, man, come on. And then then look at all of the paraphernalia and all those things. He's changing the culture. He's changing the game. And they say any NFL player could do it. Where they at? Eddie George in Tennessee State. What? I mean, I'm not hating. Doug Williams was at Grambling. He did a good job, but I'm not hating. Colorado didn't come calling for either of those guys, but they did come calling for Prime. And look where he is now. So I love every aspect of it. What's my boy Ed Reed? He went down to Bethune-Cookman, and it's a mess, you know. So all of them don't get a chance to do good things. Now I'm sure Ed Reed knows football. He can read defenses. I'm sure he can teach defense, all those things. I know that. But when you talk about motivation and decision making and all those types of things, Deion is doing it, and he's proof positive of what can happen when somebody's given a chance and they're dealt a hand, and he's able to play that hand. And I love it. I love it. Hey, y'all, I've enjoyed talking to y'all tonight. It's been fun. But Kirkland, it's been kind of fun, but Kirkland got to run. I'm hungry. I ate earlier today at Pascal. Oh yeah, definitely. He's unashamedly a believer in Jesus Christ, and that's what throws me off. If he's crying Jesus and hollering God and all these types of things, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, why are these people saying such negative things about him? Why? Hold on, I can talk for a few more minutes. Why are they saying all these negative things about him? If we're supposed to be such Christians, I turn my music off because Bishop keep going, so I can talk. But I am hungry. I think I hear Waffle House calling my name or somewhere like that. But yeah, he unapologetically, but still. But that's just like Colin Kaepernick. You know, when they created that. I hate when people create narratives and then make themselves angry. That really upsets me, because like when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, he said it was never about the military. It was in protest for police brutality. That's what he said. Police brutality. Now, I know some policemen are in the military or are veterans. I get it. But he said this is not about the military. But everywhere he went, you're unpatriotic. Yeah, you don't do, all this other stuff. They just, he hates the military. All these kind of things just kept on. They just kept creating their own narrative and making themselves angry and angrier and angrier and angrier. And they're doing the same thing with DR. They it don't matter how much he says, I'm here to build young men. It doesn't matter how much he says that I did this to give more people an opportunity. It doesn't matter what he says. People are still going to have their own narrative, and they're going to use that to make themselves angry because we're mean. And that's why, because guess what? I promise you, the kids who put this meme up, I bet their parents are saying similar things. I don't know their parents. I might be wrong, but as sure as I be James, aka whatever they said, that screen says right there. As sure as I almost as sure as I be him, I promise you, I bet you those kids, they probably have interesting conversations around the dinner table. They're probably the kind of kids who go and pull the heads off of cats and baby dolls and all kind of stuff. So you got to watch out for people like that. For anybody who would make a statement about a man, almost a life-threatening illness or situation. He had to go through a life-threatening procedure to save his life. And he makes a statement like that about somebody's father, about somebody's husband, about somebody that a lot of people love. He makes a statement like that. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's where we are in society. And so those are the positives and the negatives. That's the blessing and the curse of the Deion effect. Because the blessing is so many people get new opportunities. The blessing is he gets to be a father to 83 players. He gets to be a mentor to 83 players and coaches. It's a blessing to watch him be transparent on TV every week. But the curse is to see all these negative and racist hoo-has come out and make these statements about somebody that they don't understand. And because they don't understand him, they try to kill him. And they kill him by trying to kick him, kill him, and cage him. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And Dan Lanning, you know, I know you don't play for the clicks and the likes and all that kind of stuff. Well, maybe don't that many people like you, or you know, or whatever. That's fine. But if you don't play for it, somebody is still liking it because it's social media. And y'all got a really big school, so y'all got a decent following. But you didn't have a following like you had last Saturday afternoon, boy, because the prime came, boy. It was packed out. I know it's always packed in Oregon, but it was a whole kind of special because more people watched it on TV than would normally watch it. And that's the prime effect. That's the prime effect. And Coach Lanning, I know you love it at Oregon, but if the right NFL team came, you're probably out of there. You're probably out of there. And most of us, if we have a chance to experience upward mobility, we're probably out of there. I said I would never go back to work for anybody because I've been self-employed and I enjoy being self-employed. But if the right person made the right offer, yeah, upward mobility, baby. That's what it's all about. So it's been real. It's been fun, but Kirkland got to run. Like I said, I'm hungry and I got to figure out something to eat tonight because I don't have anything unthawed out. But I want to wait till my music starts one more time. Hold on. Intellectual Studio. Y'all enjoy the show tonight? Listen, if you want to support this brand, because we are trying to do some new things, why don't y'all support it? Here it is. Let me put it out here. There the Cash App is, there the Zelle is, and there my PayPal is. If you all want to support, we got several things that's about to happen. I did finish the book, so the book should be coming out in the next, probably the next couple of months. I'm trying to get everything formatted and all that right. I want to market it properly. You all will see the book. Y'all will see the book soon. Got this T-shirt. I'm wearing it now. The world is changing. Why do you remain the same? I'm going to be launching that real soon. It's a soft launch right now. You can purchase it on my Etsy store. But I'm going to do a real launch soon. So I'm looking forward. So we're growing, and we're growing in the right direction. But I can grow easier if you help me. So if you all want to be a part of this, be a part of it. But here we go. The world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night. And I'll see y'all next week. How about that?
Intellectual stew.